The countdown has officially begun, and Toronto now finds itself standing at one of the most critical crossroads of this entire offseason. The sting of that brutal loss is still hanging inside the Rogers Center like an awkward silence after a bad joke that nobody wants to acknowledge. But baseball doesn't wait for healing. Free agency opens this Thursday, and the message from the front office is clear. Decisions have to be made, and fast. With several core names preparing to test the open market and a rotation that suddenly looks thinner than a late-season bullpen snack table, this offseason could define everything that comes next. There's a very real chance Toronto could lose 3 of its primary starting pitchers from last year. And let's be honest, that alone is enough to make fans check their pulse. But with uncertainty comes opportunity, and this is the moment to look forward, not backward. If there's one thing this team absolutely must address, it's pitching. Not later, not maybe, now. That's why here on 9 Innings Media, we're looking at 6 starting pitchers Toronto should seriously consider targeting this offseason. These are arms that could shift momentum, restore belief, and maybe even stop fans from yelling at their TVs by June. This offseason is shaping up to be long, dramatic, and unpredictable. Basically, a Netflix series waiting to happen. What management does in the next few weeks will likely decide whether 2026 becomes a fresh chapter or another season of what could have been. First up is Dylan Cease, a name that immediately sparks debate. Toronto's rotation needs heat, and few pitchers bring it like Cease. At 29, he's coming off a season that was frustrating on paper, but still eye-opening. The strikeouts were there in bunches. The stuff's still electric, but the command wavered like Wi-Fi in a basement. Even so, this is a pitcher who has flirted with Cy Young conversations more than once. Cease is chaos and brilliance rolled into one. He'll either dominate a lineup or have fans pacing the living room by the 3rd inning. Risky? Absolutely. But if he ever finds consistency in Toronto, he could become the kind of postseason weapon this city hasn't truly embraced in years. Baseball history is full of great stories that started with a gamble, and yes, this could be one of them. Then there's Framber Valdez, the kind of pitcher who makes hitters uncomfortable just by warming up. A proven left-hander with elite results and a track record of success, he would instantly change the look of this rotation. The concern isn't talent, it's temperament. Valdez has had moments where his emotions made headlines for the wrong reasons, and Toronto prides itself on clubhouse chemistry. Still, imagine him lining up with Gausman to start a series against a division rival. That's the stuff of bold dreams and nervous opponents. The question is whether management is willing to balance elite performance with potential volatility, because talent always comes with a price, sometimes beyond the contract. Ranger Suarez represents the opposite energy. No flash, no noise, just results. He's the type of pitcher who quietly dismantles lineups while everyone wonders how the game ended so quickly. His recent season was the best of his career, built on control, intelligence, and an ability to keep hitters guessing. In a rotation that's felt like a roller coaster, Suarez is the safety bar. He may not trend on social media, but he's the kind of arm that wins playoff games while everyone else is still waiting for fireworks. This offseason is shaping up to be long, dramatic, and unpredictable. Basically, a Netflix series waiting to happen. What management does in the next few weeks will likely decide whether 2026 becomes a fresh chapter or another season of what could have been. Zach Gallen is the definition of a rebound candidate. After a rough year that shocked a lot of people, he enters free agency with something to prove. His overall body of work suggests the talent didn't vanish overnight. Sometimes great pitchers stumble before finding their best version again. Toronto knows redemption stories well, and there's something tempting about betting on a player desperate to remind the league who he really is. The risk is obvious, but so is the reward. Michael King is the grinder. Once a reliever, now a reliable starter, when healthy, he's built a reputation on precision and effort. Injuries limited him, but when he pitched, he delivered. He's not flashy, he's not loud, but he's respected. Every team needs a pitcher like that, the one who earns trust pitch by pitch. Fans in Toronto understand that kind of player instinctively. And finally, there's Merrill Kelly, the veteran calm in a stormy sea. He's not overpowering, but he's dependable, composed, and consistent. At this stage, sometimes stability matters more than velocity. Kelly knows how to survive tough innings, manage pressure, and keep games within reach. And after years of rotation uncertainty, that reliability might feel like gold. This offseason reflects everything Toronto fans know too well. Hope mixed with anxiety, excitement wrapped in caution. Each of these pitchers represents a different path forward: power, consistency, redemption, grit, or experience. What fans want isn't complicated. They want a team that plays with purpose, not just talent. A team that believes. Because when Toronto finally makes the right move, the Rogers Center won't just roar, it'll shake. And that's when belief turns into something real.